Good afternoon, my friends. This is the Grim Flayer. Hope you're all doing very well today, and you're not hallucinating. You do see red cards on your screen. That's right. It is time to jund them out. I am very, very excited about the Rock right now, but there's no denying that Jund is still one of the very best decks in the format, still part of the BGX family, and I'm very happy to be playing Jund again, and this is a donation league, so we're going to go over the list briefly, and before we do, thank you so much as always to all Patreon supporters, including the two supporters who are directly responsible for this league. Let's hear some love. Let's see some love in the comments, if you would, for Alan Lambert and Remy Marchiat. So Alan is an Of the Veil tier supporter who has been kind enough to lend me the cards I was missing for the list, including Ren and Tix here, three of, among a few other things. I actually was missing more cards than I expected to be, but Alan had us covered, so thank you so much, my friend. Truly appreciate you. And next up, we are thanking Remy, who is one of the OGs, one of the very earliest Patreon supporters. He has been a confidant for 10 months, and therefore has earned himself this donation league. So thank you so much, Remy. I do appreciate you. And just to say a little bit about Remy himself, he is a self-described foil addict and mid-range player, so we all know, or many of us at least know, how the foil bug can bite you. It's, it's funny, we in one of the most expensive archetypes in Modern are like, yeah, it's a great idea to foil this out. Who thinks of this stuff? Well, we do, so I feel you, my friend. I do feel you, and according to him, his list is fairly stock right now. As far as what Jund players are playing, I think a lot of people have settled on 3 Ren and 6, 4 Bloodbraid Elf, 4 Liliana as kind of the core value pieces, whereas numbers of those things were less clear a little while ago. 2 copies of Kolaghan's Command is definitely way more stock now than it used to be. It's just very well positioned after the ban and restricted changes, and this column over here of all the 1-mana interaction is pretty stock as well, although admittedly we do have 3/3 on Inquisition and Thoughtseize rather than the more commonly seen 4/2 in Jund decks. Mana-based 24 lands, again, is more or less stock at this point. Some people play a Baron more, Tranquil Thicket, stuff like that, but Remy has opted for 2 ofs on the most powerful overall, the least conditional utility lands, I think, which are Peatland and Ravine, and finally, the initial list he submitted to me actually had 2 copies of Dark Confidant, and he said, yeah, I'm not sure if I actually want to do this, and I said, look, 2 Bob is perfectly fine with me, but he had also offered up a few other configurations, and I said, those other configurations are fine with me as well. I leave it up to you, but if we want to do no Bob, then I like configuration X. And that's what we're looking at here. This is what we ended up with. So we've got a Plague Man and a Tireless Tracker as a couple flex spot cards. 1 of Pulse, again, pretty stock, 1 Pulse, 2 Trophy. Back down to 2 Skoos with Hogak gone. I think that's pretty fair. Skoos is not as easily leveraged here in Jund as it is in Rock. 4 Goyf, of course, rounding out the main deck. And then in the sideboard, we are well prepared for Burn with 3 full copies of Collective Brutality. Burn is the deck to beat, so Remy is not neglecting that whatsoever. Huntmaster of the Fells, a really nice piece in just about any fair matchup. A really cool card. Excited to play this one. Have not registered it before in a league ever. I actually haven't played Jund since the last time I did on this channel, besides a couple warm-up games with this list in the practice lobby. And so anyway, Huntmaster good against Burn as well due to the life gain, plus all the fair matchups. We have noticeably gone off of the Fulminator plan. That's another thing that Remy is experimenting with. He's open to the idea of either with or without Fulminator. If you want my thoughts on that, you can see the video I made entitled The Fulminator Question. We did that recently. To be clear, I think Fulminator is still a really good card. Even in Rock, still a really good card. I just don't think it's strictly necessary any longer like it was maybe not that long ago. And if anything, I think Fulminator is actually a little better in Jund because, number 1, there are no Fields of Ruin. So the land destruction of Fulminator becomes more necessary, perhaps in the absence of Field. And number 2, with K-Command buying back Fulminator is a pretty enticing prospect. That said, I do think Jund is playable without Fulminator, and that's what we're endeavoring to do here. We have 2 copies of Collector Roof, which will help us against Tron. We have 2 copies of Alpine Moon, which will help us against any big mana deck, and 2 copies of Ashiok Dream Render, which is also very, very nice, arguably better than Fulminator against Titan decks, and still pretty good against Tron, right? So we also have, of course, 1 Ancient Grudge to supplement the oofs in the artifact matchups. We have 2 Plague Engineer because the card is OP. We have a Nissa Vital Force as a control and mid-range Mirror Breaker, and 1 copy of Nihil Spellbomb, which was my suggestion. I don't remember what this was before. Actually, yes, I do. It was a 3rd oof, right? Which is totally fine, but felt we were a little bit low on Grave Hate without it. Remy agreed, and there we go. There's our 75. So I hope you will stay with me here as we jump straight into a Modern League with it, and I hope my play will be acceptable because, of course, not a Jund player, but the carryover from Rock is pretty significant. I think I'm more comfortable on it than I once was, but the really, like, deep tech stuff, who knows if I'm going to get there. So we'll find out. We're going to have fun either way. We're going to Jund them out, and thanks once again to Remy Marchiat and Alan Lambert for making this content possible. Let's take a peek back at the deck while we're finding our opponent here. Yeah, looks like a really strong list. I think he's got a good formula here. And here we are in the first of 5 rounds. Let's do it. We've won the die roll, and we've got Push Goyf Lily. Keep it. Okay, Amulet with a turn 1 Sakura Tribe Scout. So we are going to push this, of course. Alright, well, our hand is pretty good against Amulet, considering it's game 1, but gotta imagine this matchup is pretty rough. Just deciding how we want to sequence our fetches. I think I'm pretty happy to just get basic Forest here. We'll have 1 red, 2 black, 2 green, which is about as much as we can ask from 3 lands. And hopefully Liliana can really get us there. Ooh, opponent does have an Amulet. It's a little scary. Field of the Dead, this card is so brutal against us. Bloodbraid Elf. Cool, okay. As long as we draw a 4th land anyway, it's cool. But Fatal Push is a fairly free pitch here. All right. Opponent's start has been a tad slow. Engineered Explosives is a bit of a concern now that they have showed us a rainbow land in the form of mine, but they're just going to pass, huh? Okay, so interesting question. I mean, we're definitely attacking. The big question is, are we pitching Bloodbraid Elf because it's uncastable right now, or are we pitching Skoos? Let's just attack first, see if they've got anything to do. Ticking up beforehand probably does not accomplish much. Alright. I think I'm going to dump Skoos here and play for the higher upside of hitting an untapped land for Bloodbraid. It spreads us out along the curve a little bit better this way. Opponent ditching a Pact. Interesting. You know, even if the opponent does find EE, we have attacked their resources pretty well. And they do probably have a real decision between taking care of the Goyfs and taking care of the Lily before she ults. These Fields of the Dead, a little scary, but they're kind of far away from going off. Okay, another awkward draw, just in so far as our land goes. So what are the odds we, they don't really play sorceries. Could we get an artifact out of their hands? I don't think so. I don't think there's any realistic way we're going to grow the Goyf by plussing before attacking. So let's just attack. Once again, we'll see if the opponent has anything that we can draw out first. Might inform our decision for the second main phase. Alright, nothing, huh? Yeah, you know, I think we just have to pitch Bloodbraid now and just put lethal on board with Plague Man. Another Pact, huh? Okay, Sakura Tribe Scout, Snake Shaman Scout. Do we just name Snake here? Think I'm gonna. Just reduces the odds of them finding a chump blocker, basically, and I don't think naming anything else is of particular relevance. If we had the prospect of 2 Plague Men and the game was looking like it'd go longer, naming Field of the Dead is cool. I've actually won a game before that I had no business winning due to that, but due to 2 Plague Men both naming Zombie, that is. Alright, opponent has the bounce land. You know what would be an absolute blowout is a main deck Hornet Queen. Maybe we should have named Insect, right? That's what we'd name there, I think. I'd have to look it up to be sure. Obviously, main deck Hornet Queen, not very common. Sure enough, it's merely the namesake Primetime. And hey, it's a little scary. But we'll see what the opponent can manage to conjure. Another thing we could have done here is named Plant. In case they get Colony Garden. Alright, so let's see what lands they get here before we decide what to do. I think we might... man. Yeah, they're gonna... I was just about to say they're gonna get some Field of the Dead triggers. And Bojuka Bog. Ooh, Bojuka Bog, Colony Garden. Yikes. Opponent is officially extending this game. Yeah, I think we just have to take the trade. Even though we're gonna lose Liliana doing so because of Trample. Like, we just can't depend on drawing removal off the top for Titan. So, pretty horrendous. Man, they got it just in time, huh? Alright, Thoughtseize. Sure. Could be good. Yeah, pretty good. And these Goyfs becoming 5/6 is pretty cool. Bad news is the opponent does have the lands in hand to make Field of the Dead a way to continue extending the game, but Okay, they're now in Lightning Bolt. No, they're not. Sorry, I don't know why I thought that. I thought they double blocked for a second, but... Or I thought they only blocked one for a second. Ooh, Stirring's off the top. Uh-oh. We're very soft to EE here. And they find it. Why do I say these things out loud? Why do I say them out loud? Alright, now I think we're almost certainly going to lose. We're only at 3 land. The opponent's got Inevitability with Field of the Dead. And now they have 2 copies of Field, so even if we draw a trophy or something for the first one, we're not going to get there against it. Yeah. I don't know what outs we really have. Like, maybe they use up all their lands and then we pulse the zombies while also drawing a way to end the game. Yeah, I don't think we have them. Man, that's rough. Okay, Liliana, sure. Alright, so we can Edict, we can kill a zombie, but taking up to get the forest out of their hand is actually more value positive. Then again, we're just dead on board either way with the Stronghold. So I guess we're going to tick down and make them see the line. But we're dead. Yeah, very, very tough matchup, I have to assume. I don't think I've ever played it on Jund. But certainly the big mana decks in general are what we hope to fade, by and large. We had a pretty good start, too, on the play. It was almost enough, but we didn't quite manage it. Good game, though. Close game. Now we're immediately putting the no Fulminator plan to the test. So, what do we think we want? Ashiok, for sure. I don't know how good Ancient Grudge is just to hit Amulet and EE, basically. Maybe 1 or 2 other things. They did show me Karn the Great Creator. Alright, maybe we're supposed to play Grudge. Don't think I'm particularly high on those things. So, Alpine Moon. We definitely want Moon against Tron. We definitely want it against Valakut. I have never cast this card, so I don't know how to rate it against Amulet Titan. Certainly it has uses. And then Plague Man is rather viable as well. Not great, but viable. So we only have 3... I mean, even if we consider Grudge a little more borderline, we only have 2 dead certainties and then 5 other cards we're considering. So I think we can leave Push out and just lean on Bolt to remove the early stuff. I don't know if Wrenn and 6 is really that impactful here. Maybe side out at least 1, consider another. Alright, let's play a Moon and a Grudge with only 1 Wrenn, and where does that leave us? I think we can pretty freely cut a Scooze. Are we playing 2 copies of Alpine Moon? Maybe I'm underrating this card, but I don't see it as like a huge haymaker here. They're still just going to make their normal land drops. Like, oh, maybe if they have a double... They have outs to this, too. Do we just put the second Wrenn back in? Alright, this is all a little arbitrary, but I'm going to try it like this. We're going to go with 2 copies of Plague Engineer. 2 is a good, especially on the play, it can be a realistic way to beat the Tribe Scout at card advantage. We can blow out the zombies from Field of the Dead. It is just a thing that attacks and trades and all that good stuff. We can beat Hornet Queen with it. Okay, this is a pretty poor hand, but Liliana on the play is very, very good. I mean, Pulse is definitely one of our better cards as well, so I guess we're going to keep it on the play. This would be a Maul on the draw. Still maybe should be a Maul on the play, I'm not certain. Just one discard spell in place of a land, and I would be thrilled with this hand. Alright, turn 1, Scout, huh? Yep. Okay. So one of our least exciting 2-drops, but I'm pretty happy to have drawn a 2-drop of any kind. Ooh, Ashiok, huh? Alright, so we have a few options here. Number 1, we can Edict the Liliana. We can Edict with the Liliana. I don't mind that at all, but we do get kind of blown out if they can flash in a Colony Garden. Worth considering. Number 2, we can just Pulse the Scout. That feels a little bit medium because we just have so many better targets for Pulse. Number 3, we could just play Ashiok. I think that's fine overall, but also we don't need to play Ashiok right away. And I'd kind of rather kill even their small creature before doing so. So I think I'm going to go for the Liliana Edict. Then next turn we can also play the Ashiok before ticking up Lily and be safe from them pacting for a Baloth in response to the Lily tick up. They're as safe as we're going to be, I guess. But as you can see, there are pros and cons to everything. We could also just straight up tick up with Lily. We have the excess lands to make that not the worst. Oh no, do they really have No, they just... Okay. They just get a little value out of it first. Sure. I was afraid of the Colony Garden blowout. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the sequencing here. So we'll see what the opponent does. If they do nothing impactful, then we have to decide whether we want to blind tick up with Lily and make them have the Baloth, make them have the Pact in hand, and then answer it with Pulse, or we play Ashiok first and then tick up with Lily. Problem is, if they just have Baloth naturally in hand, then that doesn't go so well for us. Okay, instead they're going to Abrade. Ooh, we have Thoughtseize. That makes life a little bit easier, I'd say. Sure, we'll just lead on that. Okay, EE, double Azusa, Queen, Titan. Another thing I was worried about playing Ashiok and Liliana was the EE. But I guess we just take it. So we'll tick up before we give them any more info. As expected, they Diction Azusa. And we just leave Ashiok here as a static hate piece. No need to attack their graveyard or mill them. Okay, opponent's best draws are lands, and they promptly hit one. It's a little bit rough. We wanted them to miss it, but I guess that's okay overall. Okay, Stomping Ground, good draw, because now we get to Pulse and then tick up with Lily and still hold up Peatland. Alright, working on the hand, working our way up to an alt. We really need to fade EE. Otherwise, our position's pretty strong on the whole. Well, last time they top decked a Stirrings, they Stirrings into an EE. Let's hope that's not the case here. Okay, it's another land. I mean, that's still pretty good. But it's not EE. Alright, we're cracking the Peatland. Bloodbraid Elf. Okay. Okay, they bounced Cavern. Yeah, Tracker's fine, but I think we're going to let Tracker go. So let's take up first, I guess, unless we cascade into another Liliana. Trophy. What do we trophy here? One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, I guess we're priced into hitting a dual land here. Field of the Dead's very annoying, but Hornet Queen's pretty hard to beat. So let's set them back on mana. There is a tension between them hitting enough land drops to make Field of the Dead good and developing their mana for Hornet Queen while playing around the Liliana +1. It's just one of many reasons why Liliana's very good here, and there she is, winning us the game here, basically single-handedly. Ashiok was a good safety valve, though, against Pact, or if they had gotten enough mana for Titan. But Liliana doing work. We didn't see anything unusual out of their deck there, and I'm kind of happy with how we sided, again, with the caveat that I'm not certain about the corner case decisions just being not that experienced on Jund. The only thing I'm wondering is whether they sided out Amulet. I remember when I researched Amulet Titan for Patreon scouting report 1 month, most guys were saying side out Amulets against Jund and BGX decks in general. But most people I play actually end up leaving it in against me. And I think if anything, they're more likely to leave it in on the play than on the draw. Like maybe they took it out for game 2, they're going to bring it back for game 3, so maybe we need Grudge here still. And yeah, I mean, they're on Karn. I guess we just run it back. As always, my friends, you can let me know what you think in the comments. So we were very close to winning game 1. We did take game 2. This hand's pretty weak. The opponent keeping 7 all 3 games, that is rough. We are not going to win the game with this hand. We've got a mullet. Okay, this one looks better. It's a keep, and I would like to bottom... I mean, I would not like to bottom Bloodbraid Elf, but I guess we just kind of have to. We really hope the opponent just kept like a mediocre hand, no turn 1 play. Okay, Stirrings is fine. I'm just glad they don't have Amulet or Tribe Scout turn 1. That's more what I was referring to, so we'll take it. And we draw our 3rd land. That's huge. Also happens to be painless. Azusa and Primetime. Pretty easy take here of Azusa, I think. Yep. Just gotta slow him down. Wow, that's their third time in a row they've top decked a stirrings in this match. That's just like always on the top of their deck, huh? I'm not gonna take the lands out of their hand for a little while here. It's just a little hard to track them sometimes. Okay. Ooh. Is there any interest that we have in just trophying them right now to slow them down even further? I was just going to play this tapped and pass. I actually think there might be, simply because we're going to be emptying both hands of Liliana. So I don't mind an aggressive trophy here. This means they probably can't play the Coalition Relic next turn. At least that's the plan. That's the hope. And, yeah. Another Bolt. Alright, I think we have to go for Liliana here. This is bad if they have a Bailoff, but let's hope they don't. Nice. Okay, Cavern into probably just Relic. Hopefully not EE. Yes. I mean, Relic is good, but... Okay, Cliffs. So would we rather pitch Cliffs and hold Lightning Bolts? Or would we rather pitch Bolt and play Cliffs so that we can play a top-decked Bloodbraid Elf? I don't know. I really don't know. I think I'm going to decide to keep the Cliffs and pitch Bolts. Or is that true? Like, the appeal to Bolt is being able to kill a small creature without having to Edict with Liliana. Because small creatures can be a problem. They can ramp them, they can attack our planeswalkers. And Cliffs is not a very good land relative to what we have here, so I guess we pitch Cliffs? Just basically keeping anything around that can protect the Liliana until ult. If this exact progression was happening and we were on the play, I'd feel very favored. As it is, it's still pretty sketchy. But we are forcing the opponent to find some real stuff here. They can no longer search with this Tolaria West. No, they found EE, didn't they? Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, we need to find Grudge. Right now. This is why you're in the deck, Ancient Grudge. Come on. One time off the top. Oh, no, they have enough mana to do it anyway. Okay. Never mind. We are just in lots and lots of trouble. And we draw Inquisition. A little bit too late. And it whiffs. Ooh. Annoying. You know, if that was just a Thoughtseize, we just took the Titan, it would be a game. We'd be behind, but it'd be a game. But now, I don't know. And they instantly rip Karn. Okay. Okay. Bolt the Karn. I guess Thoughtseize would be pretty good now. Instead, it's K-Command. Alright. So, they played Gemstone Mine. So their hand is Titan in Stronghold. Is it correct to just K-Command them right now? I think so. Like, if we let them draw, it doesn't accomplish anything. It just gives them more information with which to decide. It's a pretty fine K-Command either way. So we're going to destroy an artifact and have them discard. That was another thing that, no, I guess nothing really could have saved us from the EE. Seems like they top-decked it. You know, maybe if they were sitting on it for a turn. Ugh, they keep the Titan and then they rip a land. Well, you know, this one doesn't look like it's meant to be my friends. Pretty rough. Pretty rough. We didn't see Coalition Relic in the first two games. I don't think there are enough activated abilities of artifacts to make something like Oof that appealing here. Alright. We are... Are we literally dead? Or are we just basically dead? I think we're done for. Ooh, good games, well played, but that's a tough one. That's a tough deck to run into round one, especially when I'm a little bit out of my element here. I don't think we did anything wrong, but you can correct me if I did. Yeah, it's just a tough matchup when you're on mid-range. It really is. But we ran them really close. We took them to 3 games, and we really almost won both the games we lost. I think we were like one turn of them not finding an answer away from really putting them away. But, yeah, EE. EE, hell of a card. That is alright. You can't win them all. You can't 5-0 them all. You can't even 5-0 most of them. Not even close. So we carry on. And here we are with a pretty strong looking hand. On the draw. Against Leyline of Sanctity. Well, it just got a lot worse. This is probably Bogles. And our hand looks pretty bad against that deck. Especially if they keep 7 with a Leyline. This is looking like a pretty a pretty sketchy league thus far. But the league is still young. Maybe they're on a either Dryad Arbor or Core Spirit Dancer progression. In which case it's really unfortunate that we don't have one of our many cheap removal spells in hand. Okay, so they're not getting the Arbor. Maybe it is Spirit Dancer. Sure is. Alright, let's top deck a kill spell for that thing, please. If we were on the play, K-Command would do it. Oh, the lightning bolt. Ask and you shall receive. All right, very nice indeed. Okay, so now the onus is on them to find another threat. They can always go get Arbor, but that's probably kind of a last resort play for them. Alright. Interesting call here. That fetch land is a great draw, because it means we definitely get to make moves with Tracker. The only reason we wouldn't just say Tracker go is if we wanted to play around them end-stepping for an Arbor, and then suiting it up. But, I mean, we have a lot of ways to beat that. So I think, and like our curve is so high in hand, I think we're supposed to just tap out here. If we had another more 1-mana kill spell in hand, we would just play it very safe and play it very slow, hold up K command plus push or bolt here, and then next turn we would be able to go tracker into fetch land. Now, maybe they just have Path's Exile in hand. They're going to Path or Tracker before we get value. I think in this matchup, that's fine. Still no Dryad Arbor. Alright, cool. I mean, that's probably correct. Like, imagining that your Dryad Arbor will live against Jund. It's a pretty low percentage thing. But in this case, I'm pretty happy that they're not going for it. And no Path either. Do they just have a big fat stack of auras in hand? Well, maybe they do. Or maybe they're flooded, or maybe a little bit of both. Oh, we get to untap, and they haven't done anything? Very nice. Guess we attack first. For damage, we'll fetch. And I think we just play really patiently here. We just want to hold up K command in case they play something that we need to kill. We can always end step both of our clues and still have a fully mana efficient turn. We do slow our clock down just a tad this way, but that is well worth it in my opinion. Okay, there's the Dryad Arbor. So now we've got to kill it. I guess in response to the first aura they try to play on it, actually. Right? It's also pretty funny because we're going to have to target ourselves with something. We might just make ourselves discard this Inquisition. It's probably the thing to do. Okay. +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. That includes Leyline, so letting this resolve would be a mistake as far as I can tell. 2 to a target, and I'm going to discard. It's pretty funny that we've got to do that. It's never happened to me before, but all right. Okay, no other threat, eh? Playing Ravine is an option there too, of course, but I still kind of like just making more and more clues here. Fatal Push. No thank you. I also don't mind bluffing, which is the other thing this allows us to do. And Ravine shouldn't be necessary. They haven't had a path this whole game. Maybe they draw one now, but if they don't, we have lethal next turn in a couple different ways. You know, just normal attacks. Or cascading into bolt, whatever. Pumping the tracker. Fatal Push. Not sure what our best cascades are, but I guess it's still probably better to cast Bloodbraid. Sure. So if we pick a land back up, it lets us crack a clue, but that doesn't really change the clock if they have a path. So let's just attack first before we do anything else. We can push if they have another Arbor to fetch. Or they're just gonna die. That works too. Alright, so we beat Bogles game 1 when they kept 7 with a leyline. That's pretty remarkable. Granted, they didn't have a Bogle. They were just on the Spirit Dancer and Dryad Arbor plan, and that's one that we can certainly beat a lot more readily. So cool. I was starting to feel... I was feeling a little bit, you know, under the gun, but that's a feel-good one. That's a feel-good win. So, whether we have much to do in the side, though, I don't know. I don't know so much. I mean, a lot of this stuff is just not suited to the task. Guess Plague Engineer's fine. That might be literally all we have. Brutality is very poor. This stuff all does very little or is too slow. Ashiok can shut off their ability to fetch Dryad Arbor, which is cute, but I don't think that's worth doing. Spellbomb doesn't do anything. Huntmaster is just kind of value along the ground, which in a matchup where that often is not very good. But maybe better than other things we're up to. So, I guess let's just bring in these two. Maybe cut a Ren and 6 is fine. Cutting a K command is fine. I wouldn't mind shaving like a Fatal Push or 2 and leaning more on Lightning Bolt. But we just don't have anything better to do. I think that's better than bringing in most cards. Do we want to play a Huntmaster, and if so, over what? I don't think I'm gonna. I don't see Huntmaster as being a game changer here. Especially on the draw, I think we just leave in our, you know, our interaction, our Ren and 6s to help curve out. Those things do have windows and circumstances where they're good, even though they are middling to poor in the matchup overall. Bone Keeping 7 is a little worrisome, but this is a hand we have to keep as well. Yep, they've got Leyline. Well, hopefully it's another Leyline, no Bogle hand. Do they have 2 Leylines? No, only 1. Okay. That really sucks. If it's another Spirit Dancer hand, our Fatal Push handles that. If it's a Bogle hand with a bunch of good auras, I believe we're going to die. Plague Man. Well, well, well. There's not much we can do when the opponent is on the play and keeps a hand like this, assuming they've got the payoffs. Okay, Spirit Dancer, we can beat you. How important? I think our life total's important enough that I kind of want to just get a basic here. considering our peatland in hand, and the opponent's deck is an aggro deck, you know, at the end of the day. It's not a traditional one. It's not one where you can depend on every point of life mattering, but these things do come into play. And we're rewarded for that decision by drawing a Raging Ravine, kind of. Thoughtseize pretty poor, but Plague Man is looking pretty good. Elf Scout. I don't know which is more correct to name, so we're just going to name Elf. What land do we play? I guess just the painless one. Let me look up Bogles' creature type, Slippery Bogle. I'm sure it's not a scout, but you know, it stranger things have happened, right? Slippery Bogle is a beast. Fair enough. So we'll just name Elf and the Plague Man. The Plague Man cometh. My favorite new card, although some of the Eldraine tech is very, very cool too. It's gonna be a little hard for me to, for anything to displace the Plague Man, not gonna lie. Alright, alright. Okay, opponent plays a Dryad Arbor. And then passes. Ooh, trophy, huh? What an interesting draw. That does punish us for playing Mountain last turn, because now if we trophy the Leyline, we cannot have a double discard spell turn. So what does that make us want to do? Guess we're just going to attack. I mean, maybe we don't really care about discarding them out, in all honesty. And in that case, maybe we should have played Bloodbraid Elf, but I'm pretty happy holding up Trophy here. Yeah. Let's just pass, hold up Trophy. Just as a way to kill the Arbor after they pile multiple enchantments on it, possibly. Or if they do nothing here, we can crack Peatland and Trophy the Leyline. Okay, attacking without any aura, that's not going to draw the trophy out of me quite yet. Then just passing, huh? Yeah, alright, I mean, I think we trophy here. But if we trophy, are we even supposed to crack Peatland? I think so, because we have the double tomb. Or the double black with tomb, so let's crack Peatland first. And now Liliana's a live draw. The rest of our discard is varying degrees of live. You know, who knows how long it's going to be live for, but... And we are giving them their third actual land, but they had that already with Arbor, so hopefully that doesn't unlock anything too bad. I'm going to attack first in case they're sitting on a path. And we're not Bloodbraiding this turn, we're going to cast Discard. Okay, they have another ley line they can hard cast soon enough. I guess we're just taking the auras away here. We're losing a lot of life. We can always pivot to a blocking stance with Plague Man if we want to. Alright, so we just made their second ley line in hand good with that play, which may or may not become material to the outcome of the game, but it's an interesting factor. And they're just going to play it. Afraid of Lily. Fair enough. And they drew a Heath. Alright. They don't appear to have a second Arbor in their deck. Bloodbraid Elf. Cool, cool, cool. And Lightning Bolt. Yeah, I'll cast a Tracker. Seems good. Alright, our position's pretty sweet. Opponent's still not pathing, huh? Really expected planes and then path one of these two. Because we are presenting lethal with Rage and Ravine involved for sure, to say nothing of this Lightning Bolt. We can always bolt face. 2, we have to keep that in mind. We don't want to just reflexively only think about bolting the Dryad Arbor. Oh no, we can't. Leyland's there, that's right. Well, or we can still bolt that Arbor, so if they pick up an Aura here, that's ideal for us. All right. Let's make our clues first in case they somehow manage to live here. Alright, well, opponent just likes to make us hit the attack all button. Fair enough, I've been known to do the same, so awesome, nice little 2-0 over Bogles there. Definitely a tough matchup. Definitely one that I think on paper looks harder for Jund than it does for Rock, because we just have fewer Decays, Trophies, and Pulses, a lot fewer. And the red stuff seems a little medium overall, but hey, we got there. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Alrighty. Okay. Round 3 with Modern Jund. And this is a good hand. It's a value positive hand if I've ever seen one. We're going to keep and we're going to hope that they don't just bury us early. If the opponent's on any kind of a fair deck, especially because they just mulled, I think we're extremely favored. It's worth pointing out, I didn't mention this in the deck tech, I don't think, that we have 2 forests and 1 swamp in the deck, which is becoming more common, but it's less traditional. Oh no, it's Tron. It is Tron. It is Tron. It is Tron. Well, hey, there's our second forest. Speak of the devil. So, yeah, I mean, we just have to hope they do not get turn 3 Tron. Hope our Liliana can get to work on the hand. Uh-oh. Well, they got the mine, but they have no other play. Fair enough. So Catacombs is the one we've been showing them. So we're going to keep just pitching that and picking it back up, basically. Unless we have reason to do otherwise, just to conceal info. Oh, this is Blutron. Wow. Didn't look like it. And we get blown out. Jeez. And we get really punished for not fetching first. I did that just to save a point of life, just because we're going to pitch to Lily anyway. Didn't look like Blutron at all. That is brutal. I mean, it's... not particularly different, I suppose, but I mean, just I guess the big deal is getting it countered, right? That's the big deal. But hey, no turn 3 Tron. Nice Odyssey basic. I like that a lot. All right, well, we are just gonna jam Bloodbraid into the face of whatever they might have. And our life total's not the most relevant, so let's get more of these colors in our lives here. They played mine second. Let's hit the mine. Another Condescend. Going bot. Alright, gotta fade Tron. Gotta draw action. I mean, our position's not... they got Tron. And 8 mana. Turn 4 Tron, without really even looking for it. While countering 2 spells. That's pretty rough. That, my friends, is what we call pretty rough. But maybe they don't have a great payoff. We've got no choice but to just play out into things at this point. The longer we let the game go on, the likelier it is that they will, in fact, find some kind of a payoff if they don't already have one. Wow, tracker resolves? I don't know if that's awesome or terrifying. I really don't. Okay, end step, draw 2. Obviously pretty good. Worth noting that I'm not familiar at all what their specific breakdown of spells like this and like this is likely to be. Blutron's a pretty fringe deck, and they seem like a deck that also does change, you know. It's got a lot of flexibility, let's put it that way. Okay, end step, we get a clue. Now, are we going to Emblem Renin 6? I mean, we've got another one in hand, we probably should. Instants and sorceries in your graveyard have retrace. Yeah, I mean, there's just no way we don't do that, right? I think we'll attack next. And we don't, like, strictly need to crack any clues here because we technically have them on a 2-turn clock, plus we have the potentiality of Lightning Bolt ping and Ren and 6 ping. And as I was about to say, I'm sure they've got something here. Snapcaster Mage. Alright. They're going to target Illumination. So, I think we're just bolting Snap. And then we're going to trophy a tower. Well, let's leave this phase so their mana dissipates. Okay. Alright, yeah, we're going to trophy a tower now. Just do it in this random end of combat step in case it matters. Ooh, do they have yet another hieroglyphic? That would be a little rough. Thirst for knowledge, sure. So a part of me wants to also bolt them while they're tapped out here. But then they know they're in bolt range. I think I'm still going to do it, though. Really just forces them to have, like, absolutely everything to stay alive. Man, that Ren and 6 emblem, pretty strong. Obviously, there is some incentive to get the other Ren and 6 back down there for, like, an unbeatable value. But don't think that's really that necessary. The opponent does have another tower. That's probably what they needed to stay in this game, if they can. Still might not be able to beat this emblem. Depends on what their payoffs are. Oblivion Stone's very good, but we can just bolt them. Just gonna go for it, see what happens, and looks like that's gonna be game. Okay, sweet. Well, the Ren and 6 emblem really strong. Who knew? Who could have possibly guessed? Don't think I've ever... Again, I don't play that much Jund. Haven't played it in a while. I don't think I've ever won a game like that. That's pretty awesome. Feels good. Not gonna lie, feels pretty good. So... against Tron, I think against Blue Tron, Nile Spellbomb is reasonable because they're showing a Snapcaster Mage. I guess Nissa Vital Force is also fairly reasonable. Ashiok and Oof seem pretty good. Grudge I will play. You know, I don't know how good Ashiok is against Blue Tron, though, relative to Green Tron. Like, it's probably basically only map that it shuts off, right? Things to think about. We might have like a lot of cards to bring in. So Alpine Moon for sure, and even Collective Brutality is pretty appealing. So we have a great deal of cards that we're considering for this matchup. Yeah. Well, let's figure out what's bad, maybe. I mean, even Push is not as bad here as it is against Green Tron, because they play, like, Solemn Simulacrum a lot of the time. Against, like, normal Tron, I'd be siding like this. Against Blue Tron, maybe a lot of that changes. Maybe you can trim a Bolt. And it's possible Ren and 6 is just really good because they're more of a control deck. Alright, let's take these 5 out. We're going to definitely put these 5 cards in. And then, honestly, I don't know what else we should be doing. I think we want at least one Collective Brutality. Like, they just have so many good targets for it. I'm going to go without Ashiok. We'll see if that ends up being a mistake. Let's cut another Bolt. And can we play with only 2 Ren and 6? Are they just that good? Everything else is looking pretty good. I'm going to play 2 Ren, 2 Brutality. Would like the Nissa, would like the Spellbomb, would like a lot of things. You'll have to let me know, my friends. Maybe, is it also possible I'm a little too heavy on the anti-artifact stuff with Grudge and 2 Oof and 2 K Command? Because, again, they're not Green Tron, they play more on the stack, and less of that type of thing. Opponent will mulligan. This hand is, if it didn't have so many high curve things, I think it would be worth the risky keep. Because this Ren makes a risky keep great if you just draw a fetch land, and Oof and Brutality are both good. But even if we hit the second land, it's still a clunker. I guess we mull it. Alright, this hand is worse, but it's functional. We're going to keep it for sure. But we're not interacting much. We're just jamming the Oof and hoping it's good enough. Bottoming either Lightning Bolt or Bloodbraid Elf. I think we can get rid of 1 Bolt. Relic. Well, that makes our bad hand even worse. Because, of course, our most credible threat is Tarmogoyf. And Relic makes Tarmogoyf not so good. But then again, Oof shuts off Relic. So there's that. Now, if the opponent just passes, are we just jamming Oof and forcing them to have counter magic? I think we probably are, because it's just that good. And with only 2 mana open, hopefully it's just like a Remand or something. I don't think we're supposed to get too cute there. A Spell Snare. Oh, God. Could it get any worse? And then they just crack Relic. Alright, well, at least Goyf is going to be alive. And at least we drew Trophy. So those are some good things. Another Relic. Oh, my. Oh, my goodness. Liliana. Okay. Interesting spot. Extremely interesting spot. A big part of me obviously just wants to jam Liliana, but then we are dead to some lucky action from the opponent. And we're also playing at sorcery speed, which could work to their advantage. So I think what we're going to do is pass upkeep trophy the tower because we're unlikely to get them on the draw step. You know, they've got too many basics. So yeah, upkeep trophy the tower. And then either we disrupt Tron and take it from there, or maybe they counter it and we can resolve Lily. I don't know, but we're going to find out. Okay, opponent will float, then let it resolve, which means they're either going to crack Relic right now, or they're just doing good practice. Okay, just good practice. Or they could have gone for an Illuminations. That would have been pretty aggressive, though. Okay, so we've disrupted Tron. That's cool. Okay, now we just draw an untapped land for Bloodbraid, and that's a fine thing to do. Or we just draw Lily. Now that we have a second one, I guess we just jam them. Okay, she'll resolve, that's cool too. What are we pitching here? I guess probably the... We're more likely to get value out of Bolt before having to pitch it. So that's an argument for keeping Bolt, but Bolt is the weakest card in our hand. It's either Bolt or Liliana that we'll pitch here. I'm pretty surprised that Liliana just resolved. I don't know what that means. You would think that maybe the opponent, okay, would have cracked Relic in response looking for counter magic but Hieroglyphic Illuminations is one thing that does make sense. But it still also kind of makes me believe they probably have an answer to her in hand. So I think I'm going to pitch the Bolt. Keep the other Liliana around. At least for a turn, you know. We'll see what they do, we'll see what we draw. We get a Remand out of the hand. Gotta keep that trophy around in case we Emblem Ren in 6 again. Wow. No land drop, no play. Okay. We draw Raging Ravine. It's a pretty good one. I guess now we let our other Lily go. Oblivion Stone. Wow. Okay, so like now I kind of don't even want to play the Tarmogoyf because they have Relic and it's probably going to turn on a Remand or a Snap Remand or something. Think I'm just saying go here. It feels a little wrong, maybe it is, but I also think there's at least some merit to this play. Or they just have more hieroglyphics. I mean, that really punishes us for not playing the Goyf, right? But, you know, they keep finding their draw twos when we're on the Lily plan. Yeah, that's pretty tough. But at least we definitely are jamming Bloodbraid next turn. The opponent is nowhere near Tron, but, you know, they are just making land drops all the way up to 5 so far. Now they have map. Spoke a little too soon, maybe. Alright, so we're still going to lean as heavily as possible on Lily here. Ooh, Ren in 6? Yeah, that's good. Alright, take up Lily first. This is a really tough call as to what to pitch. Because I was just going to be all set to jam Bloodbraid Elf, but now... Yeah, I mean, we're still pitching Tarmogoyf, right? Still pitching the Goyf, I guess. Spatial Contortion. Alright, we're jamming the Bloodbraid. Ren is tempting. Ren is better against Remand, but let's try the Bloodbraid. Grudge. Decent, even though they can crack both in response. But, sure. So if they had other plans for their mana this turn, this at least makes them have a decision to make. They just let it go. That's a little frightening. But okay. They didn't even want to get that Grudge out of the deck. Okay, well this makes sense, you know, Snap Contortion, that definitely makes sense. Now they can pressure the Lily off of their ults, but hey, that makes Ren and 6 look even better if we can resolve it. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh no. Oh, none of this is good. Ooh, we draw Oof though. Okay. Oof is good. But I think we have to ping an Edict and then Grudge. What an interesting game. Man, I can't believe they have a Worm Coil. That's so bad. Alright, Edict you. Yeah, I mean, I think we have to let them untap with their map. Yeah, we just have to keep our Planeswalkers around. They're just too good. We could also, yeah, no. Grudging the map and playing the Oof are very similar. I think we've got to kill a token with Grudge. Okay, let's hope the opponent just draws lands. Non-utility lands, that is. Interesting choice here, as always, for the opponent. The obvious one to kill is Liliana, but we are representing the Ren and 6 Peatland loop. Beginning next turn, I guess. So that's a good question for us, who to protect. If they send them one at each. They're sending both at Lily. Well, that makes our life easy. We just let her go. Okay. No payoff, please. I mean, lifelink is actually pretty annoying, but I think we still have to hit the Death Touch one. Oh, whoops, I floated unnecessarily. Forgot that flashback's only one, pretty OP. Ooh, K-Command. Yeah, alright. Let's pick a land back up. Play it, and we're going to upkeep it. Right? Yeah. Let's jam Oof, though. That's pretty correct. Jam Oof, see what they've got. If they don't have anything, we just upkeep it. Could have been interesting to consider buying back a creature, but I do like this. Like, I think if we buy back a creature, we're a little too soft to their board wipe style effects. They had a Mindslaver in hand? Okay. Alright, and we draw lightning bolts, sure. Let's get this loop going, though. Inquisition, not very good. Goifes. As long as I tap the mana correctly, he is. So what I meant before about not buying back a creature is that while that is good value, it does make us softer to the board wipes, and we will, like, we're soft to board wipes now too, but that's after we've accrued a ton of value. Like, these are free plays that we're getting, basically, right? So do we just attack with Ravine here? That's going to be 4 plus 9 is 11. Yeah, that's a 2-turn clock. Sure. Seems correct. Alright, opponent's got to draw something right now. Expedition map. Yeah, they might have, like, Blast Zone, which they can't kill us with. Okay. Concession. Oh, they can't activate map anyway. Oof, OP. Oh, man. Guys, that was a fun one. That was really fun, if you ask me. I hope you're enjoying this, too. That was really fun. Beating down any Tron deck is fun when you're on mid-range, and yeah, a couple pretty cool games there. The deck looked really powerful. We had some pretty good top decks and some pretty good spots, and the opponent was definitely not rolling over for us. Yeah, I like it. I like it. All right, okay. Having fun here, winning die rolls, moving into round 4. This is a really nice 2-lander, lots of early interaction. If they play to the board, they might be in trouble. I guess we're going to keep and... See, normally I'd get Overgrown Tomb, but I think we might have to kind of fetch Blood Crypt turn 1, so next turn we can Lightning Bolt the board if we need to. Yeah, I'll get Blood Crypt. Ooh, the mirror. The mirror, the mirror, the mirror. Okay. Pretty certain we're just taking Liliana, even though they can't cast her yet because she's the one we can't beat. They can take 2 of our 4 removal spells with their 2 discard spells. We should still be able to answer Bob at some point. So yeah, Liliana it is. It's nice that the opponent mauled in a mirror match, that's for sure. This is going to come down, of course, a lot to the top deck, though. But we're pretty well configured for this. Presumably the opponent will be too. They are on Dark Confidant, definitely worth really keeping that in mind. It's a card that can run away with the game, but it's also a card that's soft to Ren and to Plague Man. Cliffs is a fine enough draw. It does mean we're going to be able to pulse. Now, will they try to clear the way for Bob, or are they just going to jam him? Oh, they're just going to jam Goyf, huh? Okay. Let's draw Liliana of the Veil. Now we draw a Goyf of our own. Alright, I think that's our cue to pulse, because obviously nothing else we have can answer it 1 for 1, and we don't want to pulse our own Goyf away. We could also maybe have taken a hit or two from it and figured it out, but I think that's pretty soft to them doing exactly this, which is casting Brutality to take away what would have been the Pulse. Now they just get a Bolt. We draw Skoos. I guess we're playing Goyf. I would play Skoos if we had a second green source. Oops. When I'm tapping a red-green land, I always click the wrong one for green. Yeah, if we had a second green source, if I had fetched Overgrown Tomb, which I considered doing, then sure. Uh-oh, third land. Scary. No Liliana. Okay, it's only a Skoos. Well, they're really trying to maneuver their way into making it a Bob game. Are we going to let them? I mean, we don't care that much about Skoos right now. The only thing is we do want to be mana efficient, right? We definitely want to be mana efficient. We want to play around them top decking discard. So those are a couple good reasons to hit the Skoos right now. And maybe we can just aggro them out through the Bob, even if they manage to stick him for a while. Alright, Cliffs is a little whatever. Not a very good draw, honestly. We just would prefer a green land of any kind. But we are now the aggro. The opponent is going to probably... Oh no, they have a push. Gross. Okay. Well, we can still be the aggro now because, like, our whole deck, basically we're drawing live an untapped land. If it's green, lets us activate Ravine. Any kill spell for this Bob is good. And we have a lot of really good 2-for-1s for the Bob, like Liliana, Plague Engineer. So I still think our position's good. Nurturing Peatland. Oh, that's an interesting call. Yeah, I think we need to crack it. We have so many good draws, we've just supposed to. Another Peatland? Oh, it's decent, but we're letting them have the Bob. Okay, not much we can do. Besides, eat your Goyf. Okay, let's see if Bob buries us. Wouldn't be surprised if he did, wouldn't be surprised if he didn't, I guess. Because it depends on our top decks just as much as it does theirs, almost. They found a Peatland off of Bob. Well, that's perfect. As, you know, as we have to. Let's hope they drew like a Thoughtseize for turn. Liliana. Oh my goodness. Okay, Bob is going to bury us, huh? At least we can answer the Liliana back. Sheesh. Wooded Foothills. Alright. I mean, we just have to let them have the Bob at this point. This is a good... good argument in favor of Dark Confidant in the deck. Of course, it could have really gone a few different ways. If we had drawn one of our many, many ways to punish that, we would have been in great shape. There's their discard that whiffs, so that's cool. And we can still get there, but we're letting them back into the game through the Bob. No question. Alright. So now we have to crack Peatland. No more attacking with the Ravine. Could have a kill spell. Just find, like, yes, something just like that. Something just like our very own Liliana of the Veil. Absolute perfection. So what I mean about these mirrors being so top deck dependent, you know? Is opponent spicing in some counter magic? Okay, I was gonna say. Yep, we certainly do Edict you. And having Rage and Ravine is a nice... Okay, they have bolts. Sure, that's fine. It's a little bit of an aggressive bolt, you know. It makes us less likely to want to cast a discard spell here, if we had one. But pretty much fine either way, of course. I'm showing them this Foothills because that's the one they know about. Even though losing the 1 life here is not exactly free, I still think that's fine. Okay, nice top deck. Nice top decking powers. Don't mind if I do. Any Cascade except Fatal Push here is decent. No push, no trophy. Red and 6, I'll take it. Gonna pick that Peatland right back up, I can tell you that. It's worth noting for those who didn't know, and it looks like they're going to. Yeah, there is a priority window with Bloodbraid still on the stack where we cannot activate Ren, so that's pretty rough. But hey, you know, it's still a 2-for-1 in our favor. 3-for-1 if you count the basic, right? But still a little rough to not be able to pick that Peatland back up. I'm going to hold this Overgrown Tomb because we do have Tireless Tracker in the deck as a 1-of, and all the usual, you know, concealing information and all that. Goyf. Goyf's a scary one right now. It's bigger than our Ravine and our Bloodbraid, but we get another Lily off the top. Wow. Wow. Wowee. Wow, wow, wow. Pretty sweet, guys. Pretty sweet. Bloodbraid getting active. And we have so many lands and so much green in particular. Okay. They're going to trophy our Ravine on the end step. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's something they have to deal with. I guess emptying the hand because there's a Liliana active. So that's pretty fair. Oh boy, another Goyf, huh? Alright, well, let's keep drawing the guess. Kolaghan's Command. Okay. So. What's our best line with this? We cannot, unfortunately, finish the Goyf off. Goyf is too big. We can try to draw step, discard them out, which is potentially awesome. Or we can just pick our own Goyf or Skooz back up right now and do 2 to them and totally empty out our hand. Okay, or what if we attack with Bloodbraid, they block, they take 3, then we do 2 to the Skooz and we eat 3 Lilianas with Bloodbraid Elf? Or with Scavenging Ooze. We don't have enough mana to do that. Okay, never mind. There's too many lands to do that. There's too many sorceries to do that. Yes, there's too many instances. Okay, we can't do that. So since we can't do that, it's either try to catch them on the draw step, or... But then that makes... I think catching them on the draw step is pretty safe, because anything that they could take away our creature with is also something that we can take on the draw step, unless it's a K command of their own, maybe, but anyway, bit of a tough call, obviously, which is why I'm tanking here. I think I'm just going to tick up and try to get them on the draw step. Okay. I guess we're going to buy back Skoos, but it's a real close call between that and Tarmogoyf. Okay, they only had Swamp. So do we chump and then Edict with Lily and deal with the Goyf permanently? Or do we let Lily go? I think we chump. Ravine is a pretty decent draw here, for sure. So I think what we're going to do is gain 1 life here to play around K command. But then we're just going to go through to their turn. Like, we're not going to put ourselves with our Skoos dead to bolt. Okay, that's enough. Good games. I'm pretty far behind on the clock. Definitely tanked on a couple decisions there, but we did get there. I'll try to play a little quicker if the clock looks like it'll matter. But nice, really nice to win the game 1 of the mirror. Now, Ashiok is reasonable, but we probably have better things to do. Huntmaster, Spellbomb, Nissa are all better things to do. Plague Engineer is pretty good too. I don't think we want Collective Brutality, but it is worth noting that they are on Bob, so it's better than it would otherwise be, but still probably not. Yeah. Not really seeing a ton else, so we're basically left to right in terms of how we're considering these, and almost certainly no to Ashiok. I like losing a land here. I guess it's Cliffs. And we could consider losing all discard. Everything else that's in our deck, whether it be stock stuff or flex stuff, seems awesome. Seems really good. So these 3 are in. If we play 2 Plague Men, which I think we should, especially that makes it 3 total, especially when they're on Bob, then we get to keep 2 discard spells in, which I don't mind either. And I guess we're splitting the difference. This could be just 2 Thought Seizes to take Bloodbraid Elf, but I think we respect our life total enough to hedge. And this looks really strong. Okay. Okay. Opponent keeping 7. We've got an awesome 7. Nissa's a little awkward early, but awesome 7. Certain keep. Seeing one of our 2 discard spells in the opening hand is very rewarding, and we get to curve discard into Planeswalker. Seems good. Seems pretty decent. They have Trophy Ooze Goyf. Well, and Finks. Ooh, that stuff lines up well against our Planeswalkers. It all does. It all really, truly does. So, I kind of think we're just taking away Goyf and just going for value. Like, just going for raw card advantage. I mean, we can't kill anything right now. So part of me wants to take the Finks. Because it is the 2-for-1, but, I mean, we can't even kill one thing once, right? So I guess we're just taking the thing that pressures our planeswalkers the best. Bloodbraid Elf. Sure. Okay, so it is time to just start accruing value. And hopefully somehow draw kill spells or cascade into kill spells so we can hold down this board and then really take over with our planeswalkers. It's really unfortunate the opponent has such a threat-dense opening hand. That lines up very well against our hand, especially with them on the play. But we're going to get our money's worth out of this stuff. Lily of the Veil. All right. So if we tick up the Wrenn, and then Edict, they're going to sack the Finks. Then they're basically going to have to leave something around. I think that's fine. Liliana Edicts are not the most efficient way, but they are technically ways to chew through this board while keeping the card advantage train rolling here. I haven't been paying much attention to how I'm fetching. Don't know if I should have gotten a non-basic one of those other 2 times, but I think respecting the life total here is fine. Opponent's Ravine is also going to be very good, but look, hopefully when the dust settles, we'll be able to like protect Nissa or just win with Nissa. I don't know. Yeah, the opponent, of course, can activate Skoos here. That's true. That's fair enough. So now they do get to take care of our board. And again, since we drew the other Lily, this is all fine. But Bob is a little scary. Bob looking a little scary. For sure. Alright, I could see us using another red at some point. So why don't we get Stomping Ground and play Bloodbraid Elf, see what we hit. I mean, our hand's still spectacular, but yeah, their board is looking pretty strong right now, too. Alright, kill spell for Bob, I guess, is what we need. Okay, that's not it, but it's adding to the beef of our board, I suppose. And we don't have good blocks without Bloodbraid, so I guess we just hang back, especially because the opponent's at 22. Alright, Bob flips them a land. We are still ahead on cards, but we've got to answer the Bob ASAP. Nissa ticking down to buy back Wrenn. Is alive at some point. Do we just take this block on the Skoos? They might have something to blow it out, but if they don't, trading Bloodbraid for Skoos is quite good right now. Yeah, I think we go for it. And then they're trophying Skoos right now. All right. Fair enough. Makes sense. I mean, our life total's low enough that if we didn't block and they do that anyway, we're just at 9. So I guess we probably have to do that either way, but all right. Still no kill spells. I don't know that I've played this optimally, but then again, I really do think their progression was just happened to be pretty good against ours. So options here are to play Nissa and take up and hope they don't have a kill spell for the land. But even then, you know, I mean, it forces the trade with Skoos. Or we can Spellbomb and hope to hit something good. And then as a floor, we can Edict again with Liliana. Alright. I mean, they have a Tomb and one Unknown in hand. If we just Edict with Liliana, though, we're taking 5 plus 4 plus 1 if they can activate. But we're going to 1. Alright, that's not very good. So I think we need to play the Nissa, make a land, and hope it's good enough. Yeah, they got a kill spell for our land. We're very dead. This one will be interesting to rewatch. Again, I don't know if I've played it quite optimally. But the opponent's curve out has been really strong. Feels bad, though, to be dropping a game most likely with the hand that we had. But, you know, it was soft to their really threat-dense opening progression, which is what they had. They went turn 2 Ooze, turn 3 Thinks, I believe turn 4 Confidant plus removal or something like that. Renin 6. Yeah, it's a little scary. Okay, I'm scooping to this. We're dead. Not quite dead this turn, but we're not coming back. And the clock is against me. So to the side we go. And I think our setup is perfectly fine here. Nothing that I don't like the looks of in the 60. And nothing we're really missing. Ashiok has some utility, but it's more of a hate piece than anything proactive. I don't really like those when it's so value-oriented. Again, Brutality is fine, but is it really better than anything? You could maybe argue Brutality is a little bit better than Inquisition on the play. So do we play 1 Brutality, 1 Thoughtseize, just for more ways to kill the board? And it being more serviceable as discard when we are on the play, I think that's fair enough. Alright, well, they sure got us. Hey, you know, turns out Jund is a powerful deck on either side of the table, right? Okay, play first. Oh boy, this is a way more reactive hand than I'd like, but it's lands and spells, it's a definite keep. But we don't have that type of nasty-looking value that we were showing in Game 1. But the opponent mulls, so that's great. That's wonderful. Wondrous news for us. And hey, maybe they'll go turn 2 Bob and we get him with the Plague Man. Liliana? Okay, now we're talking. Being on the play is so powerful in this matchup. Really, truly is. So there's not that much the opponent can have here that's actively good against our hand now that we have a Lily. And if they're just going to pass, then we just obviously go Lily tick up. Means they might have a Liliana of their own. Thoughtseize. Let's play our Liliana. I'm going to lose a push. It is tempting to Thoughtseize, but I believe this to be correct. They lose Plague Man, sure. Thoughtseize, like, this upcoming turn is going to be good to take away a Bloodbraid Elf. Fulminator Mage. Yes. You got it. That is definitely good in this situation. But let's Thoughtseize, see what they've got. I don't think this is good in the matchup, though, with Ren and 6. I don't think it's very good any longer. And there's a Ren on the other side, and a Tracker, though. Ho, ho, ho. Little scary. Little scary. So what do we do? I mean, the good news is either way we have an out. Like, we can obviously push the Tracker or trophy the Tracker or push the Ren. And I think we're actually supposed to just Edict this Fulminator Mage, as awkward as that is. So what would we rather have them... Oh, they can't cast Ren and 6 yet. Alright, cool. Free take a Tracker. Yeah, our hand is so good that I just want to Edict Fulminator, and that lets us go back on the Liliana plan after this without being pressured. Okay. So, do we float mana and jam Plague Man right now? That's very mana efficient. I kind of like it. Yeah, sure. Lots of interesting decisions this game, including what land to get there. I definitely wanted another green land, but... Okay, Skoos and Goyf. This is actually going to work out great for us, because we just get to kill their board and then tick up. We draw Bolts. Alright. So we're definitely going to Bolt Skoos. Yeah, ticking up is just really good. Kind of sucks to lose trophy, but putting our Lily back to 3 is just so good. But part of me was thinking about, all right, what do we think about like trophying the Peatland and all that stuff? But Fulminator Mage, you got it. It's pretty annoying. Well, I mean, if we just draw a Ren and 6, these cards are pretty blown out. But hey, now we can't take the Ren, so fair enough. Still got that Lily, though. Oh, Fulminator really wrecking us right now. Okay, we keep ticking up. We're getting to the stage where we are a little soft to, like, a pulse on Liliana. Opponent drew a land. It's red, though, so they've got their mana ready. Bloodstainmire, good draw. Let's attack first, that way they cannot dig for a kill spell on the Plague Man before we get to tick up. And with the clock, we have to win this game. We're not going to win game 3. Because I have just been narrating rather than playing quickly. So my bad on that. But let's just try to win this one. It won't matter. I haven't had the clock matter for me in a very long time, even when live recording. Hopefully that doesn't... Oh, no! No, they're playing the castle. No, this is so good against us. It's unbelievable. Oh, man. Wow. Okay, then. Okay, then. Alright, I'm going to try to speed up my play. Maybe, just maybe, if they take us to game 3, we can still do it. But I'm probably not at this stage, right? Brutal. Okay, so they buy back and play a Goyf. Obviously very, very good. We do have the answer, but we're not answering castle. Okay, and now we're seeing a few too many lands for our own good. So we do have, I believe, all of our basics besides that mountain. So we have 2 swamps. Oh, jeez, the opponent's top decks. Pretty wild. We're going to leave this one uncracked due to tracker. Oh my god. Okay, we're getting out top decked like crazy right now. It's not over, but we've gone from in a very good position to now we're behind because they have castle and 1 unknown. And their unknown's a threat, so yeah, there's that. Bloodbraid Elf, okay, Liliana. It's not the worst. But I can think of a lot better draws too, to be honest. Okay, opponent finally bricks, but they've got the castle to ensure that they'll get some love. Oh my god, we just can't stop drawing lands. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Well, I mean, we get this far, then we just flood like crazy. And it wouldn't be that bad if I wasn't so far behind on the clock. There's an argument for just scooping because of that, but I think I'm just going to try to play really quickly and still try to win this game. If they ult now, it's possible that we... Oh, they just have a bolt too? Come on. Oh, they have everything. Alright. Renin 6. This makes me... Does this make me want to play it out? Yeah. Yep. I don't think I'm going to win another game with the clock, so let's just keep getting our value. Try to win this one. It's going to be a tall order to beat Castle and a Liliana on 7, though, obviously. Here comes that ult. Okay, opponent's intelligently going to give us the lands we can't... Like, we can buy back the ones that'll go to the graveyard. Yeah, I think we have to sack the lands and keep the Ren. That's the pile to sack. Sure. Alright, I guess the next thing to draw would be removal for Liliana, and then we can curve out from there. We don't. So we're going to lose our Bloodbraid pretty bad. Ooh, you know what? I didn't think of pinging the Lily. I really probably should have pinged the Lily. I mean, granted, we really need to rebuild with our lands too. But yeah, I mean, honestly, that is a judgment call. And even if we're winning this game here, we obviously need to beat the clock just for this game alone. So I'm just going to kind of be making calls here pretty quick. Okay. Max punished. Pretty horrendous. Bloodbraid again. Okay, Goyf. The opponent's castle is taking its toll in terms of their life. We could still cheese out this game. If they have to cash... Oh, they have the push. Alright. Our odds of cheesing out the game just went way down. Because now we, once again, have to answer the Liliana before we can really do much else. Bloodbraid Elf. Yes! Oh, is this the start of the turnaround? What do we cascade into? K-Command? Alright. Do we go 2 to the opponent, penalizing them, and then buy back? Yeah, sure. No time to think about it. So, buy back, 2 to the opponent. Let's buy back another Bloodbraid. Let's go 2 to the OP. And they'll probably try to castle into removal, but we just have to hope they don't have it. Do we attack Liliana here, or do we put them to 1? I think we attack Lily. Oh, they fetch? Oh no, what did they find? Alright. I mean, they clearly have something, right? We just oh no, they don't! Oh my god, Bloodbraid Elf. I'm glad I didn't attack the Lily, because the whole time I was like, yeah, I guess we have to attack the Lily. But then when they just randomly fetched down to 3, I'm like, my mind was still saying attack the Lily. Glad I didn't. Glad we just killed him. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm just getting very confused, clearly, because that was a 2 to 1. I forgot we lost a game, so that whole time I was like, oh, we're not going to have time to win game 3, but that was game 3, so at least I don't feel as bad about the clock, but I still shouldn't let myself get that low on the clock. Also, how stupid would I have felt if I had just conceded when we were there playing the game 3, thinking I was going to go to game 3. So that was probably pretty amusing to watch for those of you paying more attention than me. What can I say? You reach a certain stage while commentating and playing an incredibly complex game like this, and you just start forgetting basic stuff, You can only juggle so many balls, metaphorically. So anyway, we scraped out that win. I think that was a really cool game to watch, probably for mid-range players. Even though I was behind on the clock, even though I'm not sure if I did everything optimally, we definitely had a million decisions. And then we just top-decked Bloodbraid Elves to win, which is sometimes more important than the decision-making, but whew. All right, let me get a drink of water here. Before we go into the match. And look, Remy, my friend, we have cashed your league. And, we're very close to being 4-0, but instead we're only 3-1. Let's try to finish on a strong note, 4-1, but, even if we can't manage that, we'll still have had a fairly successful league. The opponent will mulligan, and so do we. Definite mull here. Close but no cigar. This is a fine 6. Probably just going to bottom the redundant Ren, although if we're against a discard deck, I may regret that, but yeah, let's do that. This is a wonderful 6. Colonnade. Alright, I'm glad the Colonnade deck mulled. And our hand's looking pretty sweet against it. So we're just clearing the way for Ren. If we get to resolve our Planeswalkers, this should be GG. Our progression is going to be extraordinarily painful, but against a Colonnade deck, I hope that doesn't matter. Okay, they have nothing in hand any longer besides lands. Okay, let's hope you didn't top deck a Logic Knot or a Mana Leak. Nice. And we have a Bloodbraid now too, so our hand is just amazing. We just almost have to worry more about not getting cheesed out by like some snap beats into a Colonnade or something. And to that end, I'm going to fetch at least one basic here, even though it's generally not advisable against blue-white control. Make sure we're getting our value at every stage possible. All right. You just keep picking them up and putting them back down. It's a beautiful thing. Jace would be a little bit of a potential issue, but of course we will have the Bloodbraid Elf for that. And they don't have it. Sweet. So we're going to activate our Planeswalkers, and then we're going to play a Bloodbraid Elf. Once again, I'm being unusually respectful of my life total here. What? Oh, Fatal Push? That sucks. Very unlucky Cascade there, but I won't complain because our progression has just been really good. But yeah, can you imagine if we had cascaded into almost anything else? We'd be in real good shape. It'll be interesting to decide exactly what to do this upcoming turn if the opponent just says go. Obviously, if they make a play here, which it looks like they will. Batterskull. Okay, we're against Stoneblade, huh? So did they play... They played Flooded Strand? I don't know if I've accurately tracked their hand, but I think there's got to be a basic still in there. Maybe that's wrong. Okay. So, kind of tempting to tick up and get that last card out of their hand, whatever it is. We could just play Plague Man and Bolt the Germ, and then still get to tick up with everything. Plague Man naming Germ and Bolt it. We could also ping it with Ren, but I think this is fine to put more pressure on the board this way. Okay, they had a Teferi in hand. Well, there's that. So yeah, like I said, I didn't think I had really tracked their hand correctly necessarily. So That's one reason I wanted to sequence the way I did. Of course, I could have gone back and looked through the chat, but it's been a long league. I don't really feel like doing so. All right, so the opponent can fire up Colonnade because they did draw the 6th land, and I guess that's the play. But one of our things is alting, or if we want it to, you know, maybe we don't alt. Whatever, we'll see. They attack Lily. Yep. Okay, Black Cleave Cliffs, huh? I mean, I guess we're supposed to simply alt the Wren. Bolt them. Sure. I mean, that can't really be wrong. Turns all of our lands off the top into lightning bolts. Okay, the opponent's at 3. They're dead to our retraced bolt, among many other things, including our entire board. Still have a Liliana to deal with. They do have a Batter Skull, but it's going to be a tall order. Looks like we got there. Sweet. All right, all right. So, we are against blue-white control or blue-white Stoneblade. This seems like one of those matchups where it's not as obvious how to side. I would almost consider it like the equivalent of siding, like how siding versus green Tron is really straightforward, but versus like blue Tron or Eldrazi Tron, you have a lot more viable potential cards, but they're a lot more medium on average. I would say that's kind of how I see a blue-white Stoneblade list, and I actually haven't played it yet in a competitive league. I've played other Stoneblade variants, but not against this. But my understanding is that they're on Snap, Stoneforge, maybe Vendilion Click. They did show me Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. I don't know how common that is, and then it's kind of mostly like blue-white control from there. A lot of the usual suspects. We should maybe suspect value out of the side and stuff like Purge as well. Okay, so let's just consider everything that's playable. And I think we're going to have to make a compromise or two. But this stuff is all playable. I mean, even a cheeky one of Oof is playable, but I'm probably not going to do that. I think I've seen Reed Duke say exactly one Ancient Grudge against a Stoneforge deck is pretty good. So maybe we go with that. And Brutalities are going to be viable here as well. So we're going to cut a land. And here's the problem, is like our whole deck is just so good. We'll play Nissa. I do think I want a couple Brutalities and the Grudge. Maybe we just continue not to play Ashiok. I think Huntmaster is fine, but not necessary. Oof is too cute. And maybe even no Spellbomb. I guess we can still cut the pushes because we have Bolt. Or maybe we hedge because push can kill the Skull token. Plague Engineer was cute there, but we can shave it. This looks fine. Do we want to just squeeze in the Spellbomb? I'm going to say no. Because, to be fair, they have not showed us the graveyard tech yet. I assume they're on Snapcaster Mage, but I don't know that they are. And I think we're supposed to leave in all of our discard, even though it's a Stoneblade deck. It's not strict control. And looks solid. Funnily enough, this hand would be pretty medium against actual blue-white control, but it's definitely better against Stoneforge. And I was going to lead on Fetch, so I could bolt Stoneforge on the end step and play Goyf, but I think Raging Ravine is enough incentive to make me want to play the tap land, but we are punished because they do indeed have the Mystic. And then we go back to being not punished because we draw Thoughtseize, so that's cool. That gives us a really good turn here. And I guess we should lead on that. Okay, so they tutored for Skull. They have double Purge, which doesn't do anything right now, and Opt. So, yeah, interesting call. Interesting call. We could actually just leave the Skull because we have an answer to it and it's clunky and awkward. And take away Opt. Or we can just take Skull because it's good. Yeah, I think we're just going to take Skull because it's good and save our K command for like a really nice spot. But we still might as well kill this thing while they're tapped. They do have a field for our Ravine. And they find another SFM for Feast and Famine. Liliana of the Veil. Good draw. Able to be purged, but I think that is fine because she will have gotten value first. Deciding what land to play. I guess Peatland's fine. We don't want to be too loose with our life total, but we want, in case they don't purge her, then we don't want to tick up and lose. Lose our Peatland before we get to use it. Okay, there's Colonnade. There's Sword. Okay, they won't purge. So now what do we do? Well, we're going to K-command. Again, while they're tapped out. I think we're fine losing this Lily here. We might regret it if they pitch a purge right now, but they don't, so I think this ended up being a good play. You discard, destroy your artifact. Okay, they pick a purge. So yeah, again, there could have been incentive to keep a Lily there. Then they purge this one, we play the other one. But we're getting to the point where I don't know how great that necessarily is. Whoa, this thing's great against us right now, especially. But they will purge a Lily. Oh, they have another SFM in hand. Wow. They've been top decking those like crazy, but they don't have any more equipment to fetch. Haha, that's awesome. That's why I always play 3 equipment in my Stoneforge decks. I cannot, or only 3 SFM if I'm only on 2 equipment. I cannot stand the prospect of what just happened to our opponent happening to me. Alright, we draw Swamp. So we have a few options. We're definitely goifing. We can crack Peatland looking for something exciting. We can trophy. I mean, both these lands are a problem. I think we have to trophy Castle Ardenvale. But maybe it's fine. Huh. No, you know what? I don't think I want them to get any tokens. It's pretty awkward, but I don't mind that play. They are clearly out of equipment in the deck, and therefore they don't have that many other trophy targets besides Planeswalkers. So we just kind of want to fade a Planeswalker, obviously. And I think, because if they do this, if they top deck a land, it's race mode, and we don't want them churning out tokens. Now, granted, they cannot make tokens and race at the same time, but I think overall, it's likely enough that they do get there sooner or later. Oh, we draw Nissa. Talk about race mode. Okay, we have Liliana the Veil we could buy back, which is cool. But pretty sure we're just supposed to make a 5/5. Wow, what a top deck. Now, if we draw another land next turn, we can also attack with Ravine if that's our plan. Or if we draw a kill spell for Stoneforge, they are just dead. Unless they have a path in hand or something. Tracker, huh? Okay, so... Or, no, if we just fire up Ravine and then untap one of the lands with Nissa, again, we were dead to path. But that's gotta be a better... It's gotta be better to make them have a path than to crack Peatland and try to find, like, a kill spell for Stoneforge. And they are dead to this, right? They're dead to any two things hitting. Ravine hits for 4, land hits for 5, Goy for 6. So any two things hit, they're dead. Let's hope they did not top deck path. Holding my breath in anticipation. They're assigning block. No, they top deck path. Get out of here. Get out of here. Oh my goodness. Unreal. Unreal top deck. Okay. Okay. Well, our top decks were good too. I can't complain that much, but that is insane. Right? Like, that's their literal only out. Do I dare to draw a card, see what we would have had if we cracked Peatland? Yeah, okay, we were dead either way. Makes me feel less bad. Yeah, I almost took that back because I was thinking we could have bought back Lily with Nissa. But then, of course, we don't get +1 for Nissa. So, yeah, as far as I can tell, we didn't have an out there. Ooh, what a good game, though. And we almost just snuck that one out. So they still haven't shown me Snapcaster Mage. It might be in the deck, but doesn't mean I really want to force Spellbomb in. We've shown that we can handle Stoneforge pretty well. We just lost to our unusually painful land base. You know, let's not forget about that. As awesome as Jund is, we just straight up lost to the painful land base. I think they're more than necessarily what the opponent is up to. The fact that Colonnade was lethal there is down to the land base, so that's a little rough, but I think that's fairly unlucky. And yeah, so do we even need Grudge? Granted, we were fortunate enough to hit our K command and our Thoughtseize is there. But I might be convinced to side out Grudge and just to put like a pushback in. I don't want to get too reactive based on what just happened, but obviously Push is good at killing Stoneforge and Batterskull Token and Colonnade. And we have K commands, trophies to take care of the skull itself, Pulse, plus discard to remove it. I like it. Whew, man, I thought we were going to sneak out of here with a nice 2-0 to finish off the league. Not to be. We've got to earn this one, my friends. Let's see if we can do it. Either way, this has been a really cool league, I think. But let's try to finish on a high note. Alright, it is only a 2-lander with no Ren. But it's a good one. I think it's a keep. Basic mountain, definitely a little awkward. What you got? What you got? OP, what you got? It's the time in the league where I start babbling nonsense because I'm tired. Okay, they've got double purge. Once again, we can play around that. They've got path, which I think we should leave because we're light on lands, and they have delay. Alrighty then. Okay, that's a spicy one. Do we take delay? I mean, there could be an argument for just taking path, and maybe we'll draw our lands naturally. I think I'm going to take delay, though. I don't have time to be delayed. Look at that. We hit our lands. Never didn't have them. Okay, we're curving out, so now I regret not taking the path. But that's alright. We were not to know. And at least their purges are still really bad in hand. That happens a fair amount of the time. Like, maybe they're a necessary evil for these blue-white decks against us, but I'm able to play around purge a lot. On Rock, and apparently on Jund, too. Okay, so they have 3 unknowns in hand, if I'm not mistaken. 2 purges and 1 whatever. And I mean, both players are pretty much in a fine position right now. It is most certainly Bloodbraid time, though. Love a Thoughtseize. Tarmogoyf is good too. Let's hope they're not on a board wipe here. Even if they are, it'll, of course, we'll get some damage through first, and then it'll just be a 1-for-1, but... Spell Queller. Well, we can beat that. With this here, either Bolt or Push, whatever we want to use. And that makes me think they're definitely not on a board wipe, so I'm just going to main phase it. But should it be Bolt or should it be Push? Very tough call. I think I'm going to Bolt it just in case they have a Batterskull token. Yes, we could 2-for-1 ourselves to kill it with Brutality and Bolt, but that's pretty bad. So... yeah, we're going to Bolt it. And they've got at least 2 dead cards in hand. They need to keep making land drops to make their stuff good. We do have Collective Brutality as a good play next turn. Alright. Attack first. Have another path. It's pretty annoying. So there's some incentives to keep this Bloodstained Mire, rather than escalating alongside Brutality, because it can enable Revolt down the road, and it's good if we top deck Tracker. But I think I'm still going to escalate. I think gaining 2 life, the 2 life swing is actually decent here. And the thing I'm most scared about with push is, of course, Batterskull, which we can push without Revolt. So drain you, discard you. And we know we get to take a purge here at least. Opt. Interesting call. I mean, there's a real argument to just leaving the purges. I think I'm gonna. We're gonna see how it plays. I think I'm gonna. You know, we don't have that many black permanences. Oh my god, black or red. I'm an idiot. This whole time I was like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm end of the league. I'm tired. I'm just used to the rock. Honestly, that's still fine, though, considering that we're likely enough to draw a discard to answer it. Ooh, what's this do? Scries? Ugh. Opponent on these castles, that's pretty painful against us. And we just hit a non-utility land. Yep. Okay, so yes, I did forget that Purge can kill Bloodbraid because I'm just used to it not affecting my non-black permanents. But I think overall that's still an acceptable play, but Castle, the scry value of Castle makes taking away Opt a lot worse. So even if the decision was fine, we are definitely punished. And they go top, a little frightening. SFM, yeah. Okay, at least we do have the push. And they're playing for the long game with Skull. Makes sense. We draw Skoos. Nice. Does that make us want to run out our final land? I guess it does. And we've got to save this to push the Skull token, because we just can't really beat it too easily otherwise. I guess we're playing as though they're on Snapcaster Mage. Lightning Bolt. Okay. Fresh out of basics. We don't need that mana, of course. So we push the Germ, and now do we bolt Stoneforge? I think we do, just because that's going to give us lethal next turn. We're going to eat her before damage. And if the opponent does not top deck an answer right now, then this is great. So the opponent could have bounced Batterskull if they didn't field first. Yeah, definitely a nice window for us to take advantage of that. And that's the concession. All right. So that was a crucial window. Skoo's getting us over the line. Fatal Push, Lightning Bolt. Even at turn 8 with a bunch of mana on both sides, our 1 mana interaction is still powerful, still enough to get us over the line. And hey guys, the great results on the channel continue. What a time to play BGX. It is truly the best archetype in Modern overall. By far, if you ask me, when you combine enjoyability, power level, decision-making, the rewarding of expertise, a good time for the opponent. You know, Jund isn't everyone's favorite deck to face, especially now that it's this powerful, but in general, you don't hear that many people like, ooh, BGX decks, I hate those. You know, most people are like, hey, this is going to be a good game of Magic. Even if we have a bad matchup, it's still a good game, right? So that was fun. And ooh, we were inches away from the 5-0. First time picking up Jund since however long it's been, a month or so. Amulet Titan denying us. But you know what's weird is, like, all, and I do mean all, of my recent leagues have been this way. We've lost round 1, and then just went on a hot streak after and either finished 3-2 or 4-1. I've done it like a dozen times in a row. The 5-0 continues to elude me lately, but I can't remember the last time I went negative. So BGX is awesome. Remy's list is awesome. I really like where it's at here. I like the 1 or 2 changes that we talked about, and everything he was doing before seemed really reasonable as well. It's not like there is any glaring omissions, but I do think this one of Plague Man main is very spicy. I'm extremely high on the card. I don't think Tracker is strictly necessary or anything, but it really is nice when you have 24 lands and Ren and 6 to give your deck a different dimension, and very credible threat on her own. And really nice sideboard Remy's put together here. We didn't end up needing a lot of this stuff here, but we got the mileage out of the stuff that we used. That is for sure. So I hope you enjoyed this one, my friends. I hope my play was acceptable. I know I'd let the clock go down a couple times. I know I'm sure I had a couple debatable lines, but hey, we did come away with a 4-1 and oh so close. If the opponent didn't find EE in Game 3, or if they stumbled a little bit more in Game 1 against Amulet Titan, we were really close to taking that series too. We would have had the 5-0. We'll instead have to settle for this great result of 4-1 with this wonderful list. So thank you so much again, Remy, for your support over these months. It means the world to me, and everyone out there, if you are enjoying this content, you can do as Remy and as Alan. Shout out as well once more to Alan for loaning Ren and Tix, among other cards here that you saw today. You can follow in the footsteps of Remy and Alan, and I believe 68 of us all together in supporting me on Patreon. I am a working father. Money is tight, and time is even tighter. I'm actually in the process of trying to sell mostly out of paper, just so I can more fully commit to this channel online. I don't get to play paper that much anyway, but in either case, whether or not I'm able to move even more out of paper than I already have, your support here helps me continue carving time out of my very busy schedule to do this, and continue having the liquidity to get the most recent cards when they come out, and bring you the content that I do. So there are tier rewards for supporting me on Patreon. You can follow the link below if you want to check that out. Thanks once again to everybody doing so, especially Alan and Remy. And as always, my friends, if you have any advice for different sideboarding protocols, I never claim to be a Jund expert. I am an expert, hopefully, in BG Rock, and that's it. So if I'm doing anything that you want to discuss or debate, please feel free to hit us up in the comments, and in general, let me know what you thought about the game. So thank you so much for watching, and thanks once again to everyone who does support the channel. Remember, like, share, comment, subscribe. Those are free ways to support, and stay tuned, because we're going to continue playing donation leagues just like this one. We are going to continue playing my rock list, and we're going to continue talking about the meta and about new sets and about theory and all that good stuff. So thanks again. I will talk to you soon. Hope everybody out there has a wonderful day.